Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Sports and Fitness with Zeke. I'm Zeke, sometimes known as Mike Zielinski. I'm honored today to have as my guest Joe Ferrari, who is the head wrestling coach at Reading High School. And congratulations, because your team had a milestone season, you had a milestone season, and we wanted to share your story because obviously with the state championship with the basketball team at Reading High, that kind of was the focal point, but you guys had a great year, 22-8. It was the first time the Red Knights have reached 20 wins in a season. The 22nd victory was also your 300th career victory. And when you started the program at Reading High, tell me about your philosophy, because it has really paid off in a lot of ways, not just in wins, but also having populated rosters, because I know it's a challenge for a lot of schools to even fill 14 weight classes.
Right.
And you had, what, 28 kids on your team?
I think we had 29 this year.
Wow.
And actually 38 last year we finished with.
Wow.
But the numbers have been good.
So what happened with this season? It just was, you have a special group of guys, and I know you have a lot of young talent coming back, so this future is bright. But tell me about this season and some of these milestones and your core philosophy.
Well, 22 wins this year was awesome. I think the previous record was 17. Before I started, I think it was 15. So to beat that by 5 this year was awesome. When I first started 26 years ago, I wanted to have the philosophy of trying to make these guys better humans, like character building.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time in the practice room actually talking to them, sitting them down and talking to them about character, about respect, being a good person. And I always figured from the start, if we get them to be good people, then they're also going to have good work ethic, which then translates into also having success as wrestlers. And years down the road, what really matters is making them good people.
It's interesting you should say that, and I don't know if it's some kind of unified approach, but I've had Rick Perez, the basketball coach at Reading High. I've had Rob Flowers, the football coach at Reading High, and they talked about similar things, that while the performance, the sport is important, the transcending part of it is molding good kids and preaching family. So, I mean, have you had discussions with them, or you guys just do this because it's the right thing to do, considering a school district, an urban school district
You mean
like
discussions
Reading?
with the other coaches?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
That's always what I wanted to do as a coach.
Yeah.
And it's what I've always done. Occasionally you get a kid who doesn't follow along or fit in the mold or want to follow your philosophy, and they just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
There's only 14 starters, 14 weight classes on a team, so when you end up with numbers like 30 and 38, they want to be there, even though they're not starting. And I think a lot of times they want to be there because you're teaching these ethics and you're character building, and they enjoy being there.
Because wrestling is hard work.
Oh, it's a lot of hard work.
It's a commitment for a kid to be in a program and then not even start, right?
Yeah, we work hard. Every day it's as hard as you can go. To try and get their heart rate as high as it can go, and they just get used to working that hard, and they get used to it. A lot of times teams will come in to scrimmage us, and a couple kids came over to me after a scrimmage this year, and they said, "Do you guys always work this hard?" So yeah, we do, every day.
How much of a challenge is it for you to get them to work that hard? Because some of the kids you're coaching probably do not come from a household where work ethic and strong discipline isn't necessarily there. So is it's a quantum leap for them to switch gears and follow your way?
For some it is, but normally have 15 to 20 guys returning from the previous season, so they see the hard work that they're putting in. Plus we have preseason practices, and we're working them hard in the preseason. And those who think they can make it into the season, they just follow along and fit right in with the rest of the guys.
It seems like in a lot of, I remember when the PIAA was really restrictive with off-season. Not so much anymore, and I'm sure wrestling is pretty much the same. And your guys wrestle with clubs in the summer and things like that throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's not mandatory, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like say Tuesday, Thursday, if you can make it, show up. That's perfectly legal.
So it's not mandatory, but if you're a kid and you want to start, you kind of think it is, right?
Well, you'd like to see them there. If they're not
Yeah,
playing another
yeah,
sport,
yeah.
you'd like to see them there.
Well, what about this season? Again, your 300th win, and you made the Berks playoffs for the, I guess, the first time since 2000.
I think we had
For the first time in 9 years, and you won your first playoff match, first time since 2008, according to the Reading Eagle, anyway.
Yeah.
So those are milestones for you as well.
Yeah, our division it's a grind every year.
Yeah.
Traditionally, Exeter's been very tough. Wilson's been tough.
I know.
Mifflin's been tough. You have to beat one or more of those the top guns, and everybody else to make the playoffs. So it's been tough. So it was nice to get in there and pick up a win.
What made this year more successful than others? Because you have the same philosophies, I'm sure, and coaching techniques. You just had some kids who with exceptional ability, or
I think I have a large group who coming in as freshmen. I had a good freshman group 2 years ago, just super dedicated to the sport. They want to wrestle year round. They're going to tournaments. They're going to clubs. They work hard, and it was a big group of ninth graders.
Yeah.
Who are now sophomores, and I think that's going to translate to next couple of years a lot of wins.
Well, I was just looking at some of the kids you have back. Junior, these are their class rankings as of this academic year. But junior Malik Jackson, 23-9 last year. Two sophomores, Eli Ortega, 25-11, and Eli Aurora, 22-8. And then a freshman, Zamir Rice, 23-12. So you got some studs coming back next year.
Yeah, we actually, Corey Jenkins is also a sophomore. I think he had 21 wins.
Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't listed.
And there's a whole group of guys who have 10 or 12 wins, 5 or 6 more guys coming back. And again, they're hard workers. These guys, most of them are wrestling year-round. Zamir Rice, only a freshman. After practice, I'll come in the room sometimes, and he'll have one little section of mat rolled out, and he'll be drilling all by himself, just trying to get some extra work in, practicing technique. So they're very dedicated.
Has obviously MMA, UFC has become massive. It's really marginalized boxing, and obviously they do more things than just wrestle. But obviously they're on the ground a lot. Has that generated more interest in wrestling among young kids, would you think?
I think it has been good for wrestling, because wrestling's a huge component to UFC, MMA type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it has been good. And I've had guys come in and join the team saying, I do MMA stuff, and that's why I want to try wrestling now.
Okay.
And
so some kids have already tried that.
some have done the MMA thing first, and now want to be on the team. Or the other way, some of my
I think
wrestlers,
they always go back to that as they get older, but at least they have that core training in high school.
Right. And the wrestlers have really excelled in MMA and UFC.
Yeah,
That's good to see.
It seems like if you have a good striking game, but if you don't,
Striking,
if you're not
wrestling.
good on the ground,
Right.
if you get down, you're gone.
You're not going to win, right?
From a coaching perspective, and I have to confess, I never really covered wrestling. I was a basketball player, among other sports. But what is the hardest thing? Like, you have to make decisions. Say you have 3 talented kids at the same weight class. You have to ask one kid to kind of lose weight, and another kid to gain weight, so all 3 of them are in the lineup. How does a coach deal with those things?
That happens a little bit. The rules have become really strict 10 years ago or so.
Okay.
Like, they have to take a fat test the first day of practice or before the first day of practice. And they have to take a urine test to make sure they're hydrated to prove they haven't been losing weight before the fat test.
Okay.
And then they get weighed, and everything goes in a computer program. And you can't go below 7% body fat. So if a kid wants to wrestle, let's say 160, and he's 164, he will probably be able to make it if he's not below 7% body fat, but it might take him 2 weeks to get there. And it will tell him each day what he's allowed to weigh.
Okay. Which is obviously great.
Yeah, that's
because
good.
in the old days, guys used to really cut weight, which is not ideal for anyone, especially for a developing teenager.
Yeah, there's no more massive weight cutting, which is good.
Yeah. So what separates an excellent wrestling coach from, say, a good one? It's just a mastery of the techniques and teaching them, or
there's so many components to it. You have to know technique. You have to have good guys backing up the program, and I have like 5 guys helping me in the room almost every day, and they're great guys. And of course, the whole program from elementary to middle school to high school has to be built with good guys in place.
And you basically oversee that they're teaching your techniques, your principles.
Yeah, for the most part.
So by the time it gets to your level, you kind of reap the benefits.
Yeah, and I have great people in place at the elementary program teaching them, and the guys at the middle school level having a lot of success. So that helps.
We've already referenced that you have a lot of talented kids coming back. Do you have any goals that you're going to be setting for the team goals next year?
Yeah, hopefully to win a Berks County championship, which I have not done yet, by the way. And
but you're in a loaded division.
You're right, but that was originally one of my original goals when I first started coaching, and that's the one that's left that I haven't accomplished.
Well, it sounds like you have a good shot next year, right? With the talent coming back.
We should be better next year than we were this year. Exeter won the county, but they had, I think, 9 of their big guns are graduating this year.
Oops. Yeah.
So they're going to, not be probably as tough as this year.
How long are you going to keep doing this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still having fun. There was a moment there when I was thinking of backing out. Kind of had to readjust things in my mind, and I'm back into loving it again. So I'm here for
Yeah,
that.
because it takes a lot of time.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amount of time.
All right, final question. What's the most intrinsic satisfaction you get out of it? And I have a hunch you're not going to say winning seasons.
No, and that's why I don't stress wins in my practice room. It's me developing these guys to have good character and be good people. And as I walk around the streets of Reading during my lunch, or I'm in the store or whatever, I've guys coming up to me that I coached 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, who shake my hand and thank me for what I've done for them as a person. It's never thank you for teaching me that double leg takedown.
Yeah.
It's always thank you for what you've done for me, for helping me mold myself into who I am now, is the basic theme. And that's what makes me happy.
Wow. You certainly you touch lives, and I commend you for that.
Thank
you. Hey, congratulations, and keep up the great work on and off the mat. All right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And hey, for now, this is Zeke saying goodbye. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to the People's Chronicle channel on YouTube.
These community stories are made possible in part by BCTV, Susie Ray Design, Queen City Family Restaurant, Lamar Advertising, Heidelberg Family Restaurant, Reading Air, Lions and Hole, Peanut Bar, and Kutztown University.